Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to JT Islamic World. What if I told you there was a king who could control Jinn? A man who could understand the language of ants? A ruler so powerful that the wind itself was his army? Sounds like fantasy, right? Like a superhero movie? But this isn't fiction. This is the true story documented in the Holy Quran. This is Prophet Sulaiman, King Solomon, the most powerful ruler in human history. Not because of his armies, not because of his gold, but because Allah gave him powers that no human before or after has ever possessed. But here's what will blow your mind. His greatest test wasn't fighting enemies, it was staying humble with all this power. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see why even with an army of jinn and birds, he almost lost everything because of one tiny creature. So stick with me for the next 12 minutes, because what you're about to discover will change how you see power, humility, and faith forever. Prophet Sulaiman wasn't born into an ordinary family. His father, Prophet Dawood, the shepherd who killed a giant, the king who could bend iron with his bare hands, the man whose voice made mountains echo in worship. So imagine the pressure. Your father is literally a legend. But here's what's incredible. Sulaiman didn't just live in his father's shadow, he surpassed him. The Quran tells us, and Sulaiman inherited from Dawood. But this wasn't just inheriting a kingdom, this was inheriting prophethood. And when he became king, Sulaiman made one dua, one prayer, that changed everything. He asked Allah, "My Lord, grant me a kingdom such as will not belong to anyone after me." And Allah said, "Granted." But what happened next is where things get absolutely insane, because Allah didn't just give him a kingdom, He gave him an army unlike anything the world has ever seen. I'm talking about soldiers that could fly, troops that were invisible, warriors made of fire. Let me show you. Listen to how the Quran describes Sulaiman's army, and I want you to really picture this. And there were gathered before Sulaiman his soldiers of jinn. That's right, jinn. Supernatural beings made of smokeless fire, invisible to human eyes with incredible strength. And men, human warriors, the best soldiers from his kingdom. And birds, not just birds flying around, these were organized bird troops, scouts, spies in the sky, an air force before planes were invented. Can you imagine this scene? A massive army marching, humans in formation, jinn moving invisibly beside them, and above, the sky is black with birds flying in military formation. But here's what's crazy. This wasn't even his most powerful asset. His real secret weapon? The wind. Allah made the wind obey him. The Quran says, the wind, its morning journey was a month's travel and its evening journey was a month's travel. That means his throne could travel in one morning what would take a normal person a month to walk. He had a flying palace powered by wind. This is 3,000 years before airplanes, before cars, before even bicycles. And this man is traveling faster than anything on earth. But you know what's the wildest part? This incredible power almost got him into serious trouble because of a conversation with an ant. Yes, you heard that right, an ant. Let me explain. Now, among all of Sulaiman's miracles, this one is my favorite. Allah gave him the ability to understand the speech of animals and birds. Picture this, Sulaiman is traveling with his massive army, thousands of soldiers, jinn, birds overhead. The ground is shaking. They're passing through a valley and then he hears something. A tiny voice. An ant, yes, a tiny ant, is yelling to her colony, "Oh ants, enter your homes. Don't let Sulaiman and his armies crush you while they don't even notice." Now listen to what happens next, and this is beautiful. This powerful king, with armies that could conquer the world, with jinn under his command, with birds as his scouts, he stops everything. He smiles, and he makes a dua. "My Lord, enable me to be grateful for your favor which you have bestowed upon me and upon my parents, and to do righteousness of which you approve." Do you see what just happened? The most powerful man on earth stopped his entire army because he heard an ant worried about her family. This wasn't weakness, this was power. Real power isn't crushing everything in your path. Real power is having the ability to crush but choosing mercy. But if you think that's impressive, wait until you hear about his encounter with the Queen of Sheba. Because what happened there involves throne teleportation, a test of wisdom, and a floor so shiny she thought it was water. This is where things get really interesting. One day, Sulaiman is doing his daily inspection of his bird army, and he notices someone is missing. "Where is the hoopoe bird?" he asks. If he doesn't have a good excuse, there will be consequences. Then suddenly, the hoopoe bird arrives, and he says something shocking. "I have come to you from Sheba with certain news. I found a woman ruling them, and she has been given everything, and she has a magnificent throne. But they worship the sun instead of Allah." Sulaiman immediately writes a letter. "Come to me in submission to Allah," and sends it with the hoopoe. When the queen, her name was Bilqis, receives this letter, she's shocked. How does this king know about her? Who is he? She decides to test him. She sends a caravan loaded with gifts, gold, jewels, treasures beyond imagination, thinking if he's just a greedy king, he'll take the gifts and leave us alone. But when her messengers arrive, Sulaiman rejects the gifts. He says, "Do you think you can buy me with wealth? What Allah has given me is better than what He has given you." Then he says something that changes everything. "Bring me her throne before she arrives here." Now remember, her throne is in Yemen. Sulaiman is in Jerusalem. That's over 1,500 miles away, and she's already traveling to him. This throne is massive, made of gold, covered in jewels, guarded by her army, locked in her palace. A powerful jinn says, "I can bring it before you rise from your seat." But then, one of Sulaiman's righteous men says, "I can bring it to you before your glance returns to you." And instantly, in less than a blink, the throne appears before Sulaiman, teleported 1,500 miles in a split second. But why did he want her throne? This is where Sulaiman's genius shows up. When Queen Bilqis arrives at Sulaiman's palace, he has a surprise waiting for her. He had modified her throne slightly and asks, "Does this look like your throne?" She's smart, she doesn't want to look foolish. So she says carefully, "It's as if it is my throne." She's thinking, how is this possible? My throne is guarded in my locked palace. Then Sulaiman says, "Enter the palace." And here's where it gets amazing. Sulaiman had built a floor made of crystal clear glass over a pool of water. It was so perfectly smooth, so transparent that it looked exactly like water. When the queen sees it, she thinks it's a pool, so she lifts her dress to walk through the water. But Sulaiman says, "It's a palace paved with glass." Now why did he do this? This wasn't to embarrass her, this was to teach her a lesson. Things aren't always what they seem. You worship the sun thinking it's a god, but it's just a creation. You thought this was water, but it was solid glass. Don't trust your eyes alone, use your mind. And right there, in that moment, she understood. She declared, "My Lord, I have wronged myself and I submit with Sulaiman to Allah, Lord of all the worlds." Beautiful, right? But hold on, because Sulaiman's story has a dark turn that almost cost him everything. Now here's the part they don't always tell you. Even Sulaiman was tested. With all this power, commanding jinn, understanding animals, wind at his service, armies obeying him, he had to be reminded of something crucial. The scholars tell us that one day, Sulaiman got a little comfortable with his power. He made decisions without consulting Allah first. He forgot for just a moment that all power comes from Allah. And then his ring, the ring that gave him authority over the jinn, disappeared. Some narrations say a jinn took it. Others say it fell into the sea. But the result was the same. Instantly, Sulaiman lost all his power. The jinn no longer obeyed him. The wind didn't carry him. The birds didn't understand him. In one moment, the most powerful man on earth became ordinary. For 40 days, he wandered. Some narrations say he even worked as a fisherman, selling fish in the market. The king working for daily wages. And you know what he did? He didn't get angry. He didn't complain. He understood. He realized, I'm nothing without Allah. My power, it was a gift. My kingdom, it was a trust. My abilities, they were borrowed. He cried, he prayed, he begged Allah for forgiveness. And then, the ring was returned. His power came back. But now he was a different king, humbler, more grateful, more aware. And that's why his death is the most powerful lesson of all. And now we come to the most incredible part of Sulaiman's story, his death. After years of ruling with wisdom, after building the great temple for Allah, after judging with justice, Sulaiman knew his time was coming. The jinn were still building the temple. They had been working for years. But here's the thing, the jinn hated this work. It was hard labor, and they would whisper among themselves, if we truly knew the unseen like humans think we do, we would have known when this king will die and we could be free. So Sulaiman made one final dua, one last prayer that would prove a point forever. He stood leaning on his staff in his prayer area, overlooking the jinn working, and then his soul departed. But here's what's insane. He remained standing, leaning on his staff, looking like he was just watching them work. Days passed, weeks passed, some say even months passed, and the jinn, they kept working because they thought he was still watching them. They thought he was still alive, until finally a tiny termite ate through his wooden staff and his body fell. Only then did everyone realize the king had been dead this whole time. The Quran says, and when he fell, the jinn realized that if they had truly known the unseen, they would not have remained in humiliating punishment. Do you see the genius of this? First, a tiny termite brought down the mightiest king, reminding us that Allah can use the smallest of his creatures to humble the greatest. Second, the jinn claimed to know the unseen, but they couldn't even tell that the man watching them was dead, proving that only Allah knows the unseen. Third, even in death, Sulaiman was teaching humanity lessons about humility, about power, about the unseen. His last act wasn't commanding armies or demonstrating miracles. It was showing that no matter how powerful you are, you're still just a servant of Allah. So what does the story of Sulaiman teach us? Here in 2025, dealing with our challenges. Lesson 1, power is a test, not a trophy. Sulaiman had more power than anyone in history, but he used it for justice, mercy, and serving Allah, not for ego. Lesson 2, stay humble no matter what. When he stopped for an ant, when he lost his ring, when he stood in prayer, he showed us that true strength is being humble. Lesson 3, everything you have is borrowed. Your job, borrowed. Your health, borrowed. Your intelligence, borrowed. It can all disappear in one moment. Lesson 4, listen to the small voices. Sulaiman stopped his entire army for one ant. Sometimes the smallest reminders carry the biggest lessons. Lesson 5, a tiny termite can humble the mightiest king. Never underestimate what Allah can do with the smallest of his creations. And here's the ultimate lesson. Only Allah knows the unseen. The jinn with all their power couldn't tell if Sulaiman was alive or dead. So why do we worry so much? Why do we fear the future? Why do we think we need to control everything? Trust Allah. Give him your best effort, then leave the results to him. If this story touched your heart, do 3 things right now. 1, hit that like button so more people can see this message. 2, share this with someone who needs to hear about humility and power. 3, subscribe to JT Islamic World and turn on that notification bell, because next week, we're revealing the story of Prophet Yusuf, betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, thrown in prison but became the Prime Minister of Egypt. It's the ultimate redemption story. Remember, you might not command jinn or understand animals, but you have something powerful. You have faith, and with faith, you can move your mountains. This is JT Islamic World. May Allah bless you and keep you humble in success and patient in trials. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.